Once you start working as a brand designer or a designer in marketing, you very quickly realize how you've been manipulated by brands all your life, either through their packaging, their advertising, or their perceived status, etc. And I don't know, that's not a good feeling. I have been struggling with this side of design for a while now, and honestly, I don't feel good knowing that my design might be used to manipulate someone. I don't want to design something that might manipulate or mislead people. Though sadly, I've worked for a company that decided to have some misleading information put on their website, and I felt a little bit uncomfortable as the website developer who had to put that information there. With that said, though, I don't really want to stop designing identities. This is what I like to do. I like to create systems and a system for an identity, but I also want to create the identities for the right people or the right brands with the right values. And I know that I'm still in the beginning of my freelance journey, and at this point, it is very difficult to choose who you work for or who you work with. But at the same time, it feels counterintuitive to choose a company with the wrong values, some unethical company, or a company that will make me design manipulative design assets. And in that way, I will just betray what I believe in. So I've been wondering for a while how to talk about this subject at all. And then I found this post on LinkedIn, by the way, by a brand designer, and it gave me a little bit of hope. In it, the brand designer explains that she's talked to a lot of brands of different sizes, and in her opinion, those with the right values and the ethical brands will eventually prevail over the ones that are only in it to win more and more money. I really hope she's correct in this. I really hope she's right, because at the current state of affairs, I cannot really see this happening. So what are some of the things that made me sort of lose hope in the brands? First of all, brand loyalty is stupid. I do not get sucked into brand fandoms anymore, if I ever was, honestly. I believe brand fandoms are so pathetic and just stupid. I know this is a bit of a strong language here, but I do not see any reason to be loyal to somebody who is using the psychology and manipulative marketing practices to manipulate me into buying more of their product or using their service. It is in the best interest of brands to have the loyal customers and the loyal users. I completely understand this point. But it is not fair to those loyal customers when a brand decides to change completely, for example, how they deliver their service or what their product is, or what may be the requirements to use those services, because the market, I guess. This is something that happened to Adobe, and no, I'm not talking about going from a paid software to a subscription model, which this is a completely different thing altogether, and it's completely ridiculous. But also the fact that last year Adobe came out with this announcement that they may access people's files to train their AI. And the users really didn't have a choice. They should just tick a box that they agree with this or be completely signed out from their account. In this case, I am glad that Adobe got all of this backlash from people, and it could be that because, people have been losing hope in Adobe for a while now, so they just had enough or something. But brands, because they are corporations at the end of the day, can do just whatever they want, because their loyalty, if there is any, is not to the users or customers, it's to the stakeholders, and their only purpose is to make more money. The users do not have any say in it, so it makes no sense to be loyal to a brand. It would be as if you are loyal to a corporation that you have no stake in. Here, I also would like to include brands that are created by some celebrities or influencer that you might follow, because you might be a fan, for a lack of a better word. Do not fall for these brands. They are trying to manipulate you again by using a celebrity or an influencer to buy more things, to use their products more, etc., etc. So let's talk about social manipulation. I hate the so-called luxury brands. This means like bags, clothes, shoes, jewelry, and especially, and most of all, Apple products. Most of these brands manipulate the people to think that because they have their products, they are sort of higher class people, that their products are created using the best resources, handcrafted, and I don't know, whatever else, to make you feel like you're buying into this premium lifestyle. I see you, luxury brands, and I don't believe you're anything more than cheap fabric and sweatshop labor. There is absolutely no reason to pay a shit ton of money for these expensive luxury items when you can buy a much better bag made, probably even handcrafted, honestly, or even better looking clothes, because we all know that these expensive luxury clothes are ridiculously ugly and they could be on a much lower price and they will last you longer. Also, I don't think the brand you wear will make me think better of you, or worse for that matter. I swear, the majority of people living in this city and this country have never heard or seen these designer brands that you might be fascinated by for some reason, or someone has told you that are expensive and therefore you should have them to look rich, I suppose. This feeling of superiority and exclusiveness only makes people act differently around each other, and like they communicate differently with each other. And we also like choose who to spend time with because they have the latest iPhone or something. Oh, and since I mentioned iPhones, designers, please. Those of you who have videos unpacking some Apple products, thinking that this is like the best or something, please stop. This is embarrassing and you have been manipulated into thinking this, and you are manipulating other people into thinking this is something good. I believe, and truly believe, that us as designers should really know better than to idealize these brands with manipulative marketing practices. Which leads me to my next point, and that's I avoid brands that gatekeep. They are really not for me. I am talking about those brands who create artificial scarcity for the sole purpose of increasing their product prices. You know the ones, the Hermeses or whatever with their Birkin bags, and the Ferrari with their club that you have to be in or whatever. Ugh, this makes me so mad. And at the end of all of these reasons, it is the constant call for buying the latest product. Oh, a new collection has dropped? Well, buy these new products because the last ones were not good enough? But you said the last ones are superior or whatever, they are the best. And now, but these are better than the previous one? Yeah, right. Anyway, what I wanted to say with all of this is that in all of these cases, there are designers, art and creative directors behind all of these brands, their design assets, their marketing campaigns, their social media presence, who have planned carefully how to make people buy more and be loyal to these brands when the brands don't even deserve it. So, what do I think could be some things that could change maybe in the future for branding? For me as a user, I would like to see true values for companies. Like, don't just tell me what your values are. Show me with your actions what you truly value. If it is to keep the environment safe, if you're valuing your employees, for example, and tell true stories, tell impactful and true stories, and maybe support others who have the same stories as you, maybe some smaller companies with the similar values and stories as you. Scaling down instead of constantly trying to scale up. And I realize in this age of capitalism, it is mostly impossible to scale down companies that their only purpose is to make more and more revenue each quarter. But scale down the constant shouting on social media. Let's scale down the marketing campaigns that make people feel unworthy or less than others and the influencer and paying so many influencers to be in your ads because they have more following? Why is that important? For me as a designer though, like, I understand that it's very difficult to stand out nowadays with your brand and your like visual identity. But if we as designers truly believe in this company's values and their story maybe and what they believe in, it will be much easier for us to create something meaningful, and we will create our best work for that brand. So let me know what you think. Do you think the future of branding is ethical? Let me know down in the comments. Are you a designer who has also been struggling with this dilemma? Tell me how it's going for you, I guess. I want to leave you with these two videos that I found very interesting that you might like if you like this video. These channels are much bigger and you might have even seen these videos before. They didn't really change my mind. I have been aware of all of these things before I watched the videos, but I share them because they go into more depth of how the brands manipulate you, and I couldn't do that in this video. Anyway, if you liked, please like, subscribe if you think that you might take some value out of my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.